Live from the Tokyo Dome Hotel, this is Baseball Outside the Box. Welcome.
And The Bottom Line with Carlucci Broadcast International, a double play.
And we want to welcome all our guests from around the world and also from the United States of America. Welcome to Baseball Outside the Box. I'm your host, Pete Caliendo, Michael Carlucci, and our special guest, Enrique Burgos. We want to tell you a little bit about our guest, and we'll get started with the show. But before we do, don't forget, baseballoutsidethebox.com. Check it out. Spread the word. We're on social media, Baseball Out. We're on Twitter, Facebook. We're all over. Help us get the show around the world, so we appreciate it. And let me tell you about Enrique a little bit. Former Major League pitcher with Kansas City and San Francisco. By the way, he played in Taiwan. We were just sitting here in the lobby, and the Taiwan baseball team is heading to the Tokyo Dome to practice. Enrique played several years in Taiwan, then signed with the Kansas City Royals. Only played 3 months in the minor leagues, ended up then going right to the big leagues. And currently also with us here with the WBSC Premier 12, the top international tournament in the world, the top 12 baseball countries. We're on the technical committee of the WBSC. It's a great honor for us to be here, and we're excited about not only watching the rest of the event, but also participating in this great podcast. It's going to be a great show. Let's welcome Mr. Enrique Burgos. Enrique, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, really good. It's a good pleasure to be here with you guys, and especially do this interview.
Yeah, and we must say, my partner, if we laugh, because, folks, we've been laughing the whole time here because you got to have fun doing these shows.
When you travel 12,000 miles away, if you ain't laughing, you ain't having fun, right? You ain't living, man.
Last night with 31,800, I believe, and 77,000 fans, the PA announcer for our event, the former New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers PA announcer, just a fantastic voice. We were downstairs. You could hear it throughout the stadium. Top notch, and I bet you had a lot of fun up there, huh, Michael?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Little cramped quarters, Remember in Japan, everything's, built tall, but, because they got so many people, so they're known for getting as much you can in a small space. So, but nice people, good comfort, nice. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
And that's what I wanted to ask both of you guys. Japan, just an awesome place. Enrique, you played in Taiwan, but Japan also a great place for baseball.
Oh, excellent place, especially like the fields, everything inside the stadium, they work really well. One thing I like in this tournament, and we're talking about, that's the way the little kids, the bad boys, going to the field.
Yeah, we talked
I
about
love
that at
that
breakfast.
thing.
I mean, at breakfast. Tell the folks what they told you, how they get these bad boys.
Well, I asked the bad boys how they get this job, and they say they have the tryouts. So that means they know how they're going to do it, how they're going to grab the bat, how they're supposed to run. And what I like most is they sprint from here to there to here. They don't walk. So I like that.
It's kind of like training PA announcers.
you got to go to a camp. It's like bat boy camp, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
high instructors to institute what do you have to do? Pick up the ball, pick up the bat, right?
It's interesting. I laugh about it, and I kid about it, but it's no different than I was at one of the practices and also the games, and I'm thinking to myself, we've got, when it comes to international teams, everybody has different cultures, right? And then at the WBSC, we have high standards, things that you must do, prior to games, during the game. There's certain things that maybe some cultures do differently in their country. If I was a manager or coach, one of the things I would do first is I would make sure I understand all the different, rules and regulations.
Exactly.
I would have, in my practice games, I would institute the same thing we're doing here with our protocols, whether it's national anthems, whether it's how we go out to the field, how we stand, everything that needs to be prepared to be able to do it here. So when you come here, it's second nature, and the players already know how to handle it.
Right. It is one thing, when you ask me how things are going in the booth, what we're reading, our scripts and stuff like that, I do notice the Japanese announcements, there's a foul ball. They every time they will warn the fans, be alert, be cautious.
Correct.
United States, you do it before the game, and that's it. You don't have to keep reminding them. But here in Japan, they're very safety conscious, which is good.
Yeah.
Safety cautious. Know what's going to keep stay alert. In fact, there's a section of the stadium. I don't know if you saw it, Enrique. there's one area where they wear helmets. You have to wear a helmet as a fan. Wear a
They give him a
helmet.
glove.
They give a
They give a glove as
helmet
well.
Give him
and
a
a
glove.
glove.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
there you go. So
And the thing about the Japanese folks, if you've been here, just not in baseball, but even in ordinary life, they seem to be like 3 steps ahead. They're always thinking ahead. Their attention to detail is incredible. I mean, think about it. They whistle, so that way you're aware of a foul ball. I mean, they always think of something different to make sure it's. They were interviewing. Now think about this. Not to scare anybody, but the Mexican team was on the field or in the dugout, and they're hearing all this noise in the bleachers. Well, it's the announcer practicing, the real announcer for Japan. Announcing earthquake. I mean, imagine that one. Preparing for earthquake. So the fans and the people are coming down. The ushers are coming down. There's nobody in the stands, and they're practicing how they're going to evacuate everybody.
Yeah, always prepping, always over rehearsing, always practicing. But hey, they want to be cautious. They want to make sure that they're over prepared. They got more people, maybe like the United States, maybe in South America, the Latin America countries. They have less people to handle those jobs. Here in Japan, they're over. So let's say for 2, they'll have 20.
Yeah.
And they got people trained and ready to go, over rehearsing, over training. Know what's going on from head to toe. And
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but
lots to learn from here.
Yeah. And I had to read a little safety precaution thing about the earthquakes and where to evacuation areas. Tell the fans, the ones that speak English, where to go. But
Enrique, let's talk. Let's jump a little bit here and talk about what you're doing with Major League Baseball. And one thing I didn't mention was Enrique's with Major League Baseball handling. He's a pitching instructor, handling all the work in Brazil. So tell us a little bit about kind of what Brazilian baseball, and then also a little bit about the academy, what's going on there, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they start in 2017, MLB plus the Brazil Federation. So we have they have a nice facility. They have three big stadiums. They have 2 little ones. I mean, for the little leagues, and plus they have like a restaurant, cafeteria. They have dorms, a huge batting cage. We have a indoor bullpen, so when this rain, we can still practice. The facility is real good. So MLB wants to grow the baseball in Brazil. Everybody knows every time you talk about Brazil, you come to your mind football.
Sure.
I mean soccer. That's what you guys say. Yeah. In Spanish, we say football. Right? Yeah. And everybody think about soccer, but they have a good talent of baseball there. So MLB plus the federation get together, and they started doing the academy. We have 47 kids from 13 to 16. We prepare this kid for the national tournaments, maybe college education in the States, and plus for the professional baseball, And so far in 3 years we signed 17 players come out from type.
Wow, 17. Yeah.
Get used to it.
17 players.
Yes, 17 players. Of those 70 players, 15 pitchers. So Brazil have good arms.
Are they actually Brazilian blood native, or is there Japanese Brazilian? Because in 2005, the World Cup, they put a team together for Brazil, but they were all Japanese descent, raised in Brazil. Like there's names like Jose Suzuki and Gonzalo Hamasaki, because of the Japanese descent.
Exactly.
So is that kind of what you're dealing with, or are you dealing with actually Brazilian?
Oh, we do with both.
Okay.
But pitchers, now the pitchers, I would say like 90% of the pitchers, they're Brazilian, 100%.
100% blood.
100% blood Brazilian, right? The position players, most Japanese.
Japanese descent.
And that's a great point. And folks, just so you know, we're talking about a tremendous amount of experience here between both Michael and Enrique when it comes to the game of baseball. You guys have seen baseball all over the world, and obviously in the U.S. a lot. Why do you think the Japanese are more position players and the pitchers happen to be Brazilian?
Well, I mean, I don't.
What are you seeing? Are you seeing difference in
the
body
size?
type? The size.
That's big difference. because we have those Brazilian guys 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", but we see those Japanese,
shorter.
Sure.
And the Brazilians, I noticed because they work out, they really work out a lot. They put a lot of bulk on, so they probably have big, strong legs, which are important, as you know, as a pitcher.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's probably why.
We look for those guys with those big square shoulders.
Yeah.
And the Brazil guys have that.
Oh, interesting story. We had at breakfast just the other day. We were talking about that because I want our coaches to understand in the U.S., also around the world, especially, that you're not born a pitcher. You mentioned that you look for something. All of a sudden, you said, "Hey guys, I want to see this kid pitch." Talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah. I've got to go back to Brazil after the tournament because we had the tryouts for the incoming kids for next year. So I don't look for the guy who throw 90 because we know, or I know, there's no kid who will throw 90 right away. But I look for the big size, long arm, long legs, so we can work with it, and make it better pitcher. So development, exactly. I don't look for the guy who throw 90 because
he might be all over.
Or they have a great mechanic.
Yeah.
So we
teach the mechanic. We teach it. We don't teach how to throw hard because there are the strengths there. But we work on the mechanic, and now he going to be better.
And you saw a player, and I think you told one of the coaches, "Hey, I want to see him pitch now," but he's not a pitcher, right? And what was the response of the coaches? Because right away they're not going to be wanting to do that right away, correct?
Yeah, exactly. First, like I said, I set aside. I don't know if he's a pitcher, catcher, outfield, but I like to see him pitching. Yeah. First, I'll say, okay, let me see the mechanic.
Give him a test.
Yeah. And I say, can I put him in the mound? And they say, he don't know how to pitch. Yeah, but that's why we're here.
Yes,
because if you have somebody that already know how to pitch, I won't do anything because he know how to do it. So I need a kid that they don't know how to pitch, so I can teach them. I can teach them mechanic, and I know they have a good strength in their arms. So that's all I need. Because everything else, practice.
It'll be a big challenge for you, but exciting because now you're going, I got to really get this guy on, get him on the right format.
Yeah. And they've got 17 guys that
signed.
Guys. Are they 17 pitchers?
15.
Pitchers.
Pitchers.
Wow.
By the way, do you speak Portuguese?
A little bit.
Enough to get by, right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Good, yeah.
Portuguese and Spanish is almost the same.
Cross a little
sure.
bit.
Yeah. And we have coaches from Brazil. They speak Spanish,
good, so
even Japanese they speak. Yeah. Spanish, Portuguese, English.
And how important is it to also educate the coaches, because you can't be there all the time, and you're not all over the country because you have an academy. They're coming to you. How important is it for you to work with coaches so they go back in their areas and train the pitchers correctly? Yeah,
that one thing that I was forgetting was that they don't have pitching coach in Brazil.
Wow.
That's why, when I ask, okay, can I see this kid in the mound? Yeah. That's when they tell me, no, he don't know how to pitch, because they don't know how to teach the mechanic. So now, it's not because I'm there, but now we go there, and now all those pitchers start coming up. A lot of pitchers. And when we have this tryout, everybody want to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
Because right now they know, the guy who signs a pitcher, so I want to be a pitcher.
And once the kids see these kids sign, they want to also not only just pitch, but they want to play baseball more.
Exactly.
Because they got a chance. Because you told me there's, I think, 4 or 5 players in the major leagues right now from Brazil.
Exactly. And one thing is pitchers.
That's the name of the game,
pitchers.
Isn't it?
They have, let me see if I can, Gohara, he played with Atlanta. I don't know the full name, so.
Mm-hmm.
Rienzo, he used to
sure,
play
Kansas
with
City.
And Vieira.
Yeah.
Vieira, that he was with White Sox, Seattle, and then he got White Sox.
Now, as a pitcher, you're probably 6'5", 6'6", you pitch in the big leagues. There's some guys that you signed, I know from Brazil just recently, a young man for 1.5, but he wasn't 6'4", 6'5".
Pardinho.
Yeah, Pardinho, but he can throw hard.
He can throw hard.
So what's the philosophy there? But it used to be you needed to be tall. Now you don't. What do you think? Is there an advantage or disadvantage to either one?
When you like small guy, you had to do like 3 times the tall guy do it, because this guy is only about 5'11", 5'10", but he throw 96.
Yeah.
And he throw a lot to strike. I worked with him 2 years. He maybe played, I would say, like 25, 30 games. No walk at all. He don't walk nobody. He can throw strike.
Yeah.
That's impressive to see the kid like that. See, 15 years old, throw a lot of strike.
Absolutely.
And throw hard. I think he's the first kid that throw in the World Classic with 15 years old.
I remember in Brooklyn. Yes, yeah. I was in the Classic. I saw him there. And also, you talk about, it's interesting you said that. You hear a lot of coaches nowadays, Michael, you've heard this. It's all about velocity. And we get it. If you throw fast, the hitter has to react quicker and all that. But when you're young, you got to start off with what? I mean, you're talking about command, control, good movements.
Yeah.
Talk about the things that you work with the most with the pitchers first before you even get to velocity.
Well, first thing I do is work in the balance. But balance is important even for hitting, catch a ground ball,
sure.
Fly balls, because if you don't have that balance, you have nothing. So we start with the balance. That's the important thing with us is balance.
And balance, where? Throughout the whole motion? Is there certain points?
The whole motion. Because the first move you do when you're pitching, you need to have balance there. Even when you step in the rubber, because some kids they step with the feet together.
Yeah.
If you don't have no balance there.
That's what I wanted to ask. Some of the things that maybe you see that they do incorrectly.
Exactly.
To not create balance.
Exactly. So that's what my first point. And after that, everything goes, ¿cómo se dice? Run through it.
Yeah, run smooth through it.
Exactly.
I like that. Como se dice? I can say that.
Yeah, como se dice.
No?
Yeah.
Italian too.
Yeah,
and folks, you do have 2 Italians here, so once in a while you'll hear some Italian words. You might even eat pasta during the show once in a while.
Well, yeah, I got some on my. I almost got some on my shirt. And in fact, that used to be a white shirt. It's all pasta. But he dyed his. Just put it in the big jug of pasta sauce. It's the sauce.
Michael, you've seen some great pictures with the Dodgers. Were they always tall? I mean, all the guys were pretty much in the old days.
Yeah, well, you know what? There was one guy. Remember Mike Hampton?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think he. What do you want to say?
He's
You might want to say. Yeah, he was
left-hander,
but he was
right?
like 5'9".
Yeah.
And then what's his name? Who was the closer? It was the Mets lefty, threw hard. I think it was his name here.
Grant Maddox
Wagner
was another one that threw hard.
Yeah,
wasn't very
he was
tall.
only 5'9", 5'10". So you get
Maddox wasn't that
I think
tall.
it's just the upper. Oh, Maddox is only 6 foot.
Yeah.
But I think it's the mechanics,
Exactly.
discipline, knowing the zone, and then the upper body, and either upper body's great or it's the legs that are better than the upper body. Meaning, obviously you got to have strong legs to go 9 innings. Full complete game. And being here in Japan, Hideo Nomo, there was an interesting guy. I think he was like 6'1", 6'2", but his delivery was very almost like he's balking, getting ready to throw a balk, because that delivery kind of a slow motion. But if you see something like that, do you frown on that kind of delivery? Because that could actually, in time,
the Japanese even
That's
stop.
Japanese style.
They even stop.
That would be good for shoulders and your hips. Would be kind
The
of.
difference is
I think it's
you
bad.
see the legs of the Japanese pitchers.
Oh yeah,
Or
they're thick.
even the Japanese players.
They're thick. Every one of them.
Because they do more conditioning than us.
Yeah.
It's big different the conditioning we do now than we do them. But here, that's big different. They spend like maybe 2-3 hours running when they training. That's big difference. Like when I play in Taiwan, they do the same.
What's the conditioning like with the academy in Brazil?
It's big different. They do some more like
Swimming?
aerobics, jumping jab. Because before, I remember when I played, we go in the grass.
Yeah.
Get down, stretching.
Stretching, yeah.
But now it's not stretching.
Movement.
It's movement.
A lot of movement.
Yeah, they're talking about moving, explosion, how to move your legs.
Strength while you move. You're developing
Exactly.
strength and flexibility as you move.
Exactly.
But, you know, baseball, we all know this, baseball's a game where you got to move fast. You know, you're standing still and then boom, you got to go. You know, you're standing still and you got to go. You got to be able to utilize those muscles fast.
Exactly correct.
Yeah. How about, I've heard maybe swimming. Sometimes I get into the pool and then kind of use the rubber stretch machine, you know.
Yeah.
For the shoulders and stuff. So.
That's a good workout.
Yeah.
But
maybe it might create an injury because you're over flexing yourself. You know,
but,
stretching too much maybe.
But when you in the off season you can do that. A lot of swimming, like it's good. Like go to the beach and run in the water, go to the sand.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really, really good. You get a lot of power.
Running in the sand, that would be very good.
Yep.
And since we're on conditioning, little shout out to our good friend Jeff Crochelle, the Crusher, who Enrique works with, because Jeff is also in Major League Baseball. Check out his podcast, the Crush Performance, fantastic podcast. But Jeff goes down to Brazil. Well, he's all over the world, but he goes to Brazil to work with all the players. And exactly what we're talking about is the conditioning aspect.
Yeah. I think he might go in a couple of days in Brazil. I don't know. I'm not for sure. But maybe when I go back to Brazil, he's there because he had to prepare the kid for the next year.
And they have a whole program. They're talking about, also trying to educate the coaches.
Exactly.
They have a program so that way they can follow the players to make sure that they're doing it correctly.
Correct.
I mean, this is, Major League Baseball is taking a very serious look at Brazil and put a lot of money into Brazil right now. So obviously, with 17 players, they saw potential there.
Yeah, and we have another academy in different countries. We have in Curacao, Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, and one in South Africa too.
Talk to our coaches around the world. Let's jump back a little bit to the balance. When you have a player that they're struggling with their balance, what are some of the things you might do? Some drills or some exercises? And I know we're on video here, so you can show a little bit here. But on our podcast with just all audio, but give an example a little bit about what you do when they have problems with the balance.
Okay, the first thing we do is tell the kid to learn how to get to the X point. We call it X point because when you lift your leg, you have to go drop down, and that's where you find your X point. Each pitcher has your different one.
Your landing point.
Not the landing.
Not landing.
That's when you have the balance.
Okay.
We call it X point because you lift your legs, drop it, but you have to drop it all the way, not all the way down, but.
So that dropping to a certain point before you hit the ground.
Before.
That's important.
That's the most important for me.
Wow.
Because you have your balance, and then you go to the home plate.
Yeah.
Do you use any video technology to tape some of these guys?
Yes, we have videos, and we teach them how to get that balance. We have so many different drills, and we have in videos, we have in manuals.
Yeah, a couple of drills if you could think, like a couple of things you might do for balance.
Yeah,
to help our coaches out.
We do that. The first problem for us are the X point.
So you lift it and you bring it down. You don't touch the ground.
You remember? I forget the closer he used to pitch with Seattle. The closer, Dominican guy. That he don't lift his leg.
Yeah, right. I know who you're talking about.
Fernando Rodney. Yeah.
You see,
he's still pitching.
The way they teach him is you put a baseball in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He step on a baseball. That's your X point. You take the ball out, and he goes.
And now you go.
And then you go. So you kick down, boom, go to home plate.
Is that X points different for every player?
For each pitcher.
Tim Lincecum.
Because they have a different.
The Giants.
Lincecum
like sometimes they turn, sometimes they left.
Sure.
Because you want him to finish his leg before he start moving to the plate.
Mm. So a lot of players, they may not go to that point. They may be going earlier.
That's why they don't have the balance.
Now that changes your whole balance.
They lost balance. They lost power. They lost everything.
You see now when you do that, you see correction in the upper body and everything, or because now you're going to land, right?
Yes.
Now, talk about the landing spot, how important that might be, and is it different for every player?
See, the thing is, everything comes to the balance. Okay, like you say, some pitchers don't go down to the X point, and they lose balance, they lose power, they lose control. They don't have the control.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have the balance, the good balance, you go straight to the catcher, and you don't land it across your body or open your body or open the front side.
Yeah.
Always going to be close because you have the balance.
And how do you utilize the technology? You're videotaping this so that way they can see it where they're at?
Yeah, I have a lot of videos of the different pitchers. We have the different X point.
Mm-hmm.
We have different way they're landing, But the important thing there is that we show you good moves and bad moves. So if you only show a good move, they nothing. But you show both. Now they know.
Sure.
How you will do it.
All right. We mentioned balance now. What else do you concentrate on? Let's say a pitcher has pretty good balance. What's the next phase that you might work on to make sure that they're being developed correctly?
Another thing is finish the back leg.
Mm.
Because a lot of players don't finish the back leg.
Mm-hmm.
When you throw the ball, finish because
that
helps you to follow
look?
through.
How would the back leg look? How does it come? Does it come a certain way?
No,
everybody's
different.
Yeah.
That's the pain, like the arm angle.
Yes.
That's why they have big difference.
Yes. You see some pitchers. Greg Maddox, when he threw, he threw it, and then, boy, he had a couple hops, and he was in a fielding position.
Exactly.
But some guys aren't. Some guys are turned to this side. Some guys
fell.
Some guys fall, and they're never going to get the ball. But are you more worried about throwing strikes, or are you more worried about the fielding aspect?
You worry about more throwing strike.
Yeah.
Because if you throw strike, you're going to get people out.
Right. You got a defense behind you.
You got a defense behind.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's right.
They hope.
But you have to just worry about throw strike.
Yeah.
About fielding, when you pitching, every time you got ground ball back to you, you think that ball came at maybe 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes but you don't worry about catching ground ball. You worry about pitching.
Here at the WBSC Premier 12, we see a lot of different type of pitchers. A lot of different movement on balls. You got the Japanese, the Taiwanese, extremely good control. Where do you start with the pitches with the kids, with the young players at the academy? What do you recommend? You got fastball. What's the next pitch if you work on it? How do you know when to start working on that next pitch? What do you guys focus on?
The first thing we focus on is fastballs.
Yeah.
4-seam fastball. Because you have to get a little bit of control.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a control, but fastball, just fastball. And then we maybe change it.
Mm-hmm.
After they show some improvement, some control with those two pitches. Now we work another kind of pitch. That's depend on his hand.
Oh, the progression.
Yeah. Sometimes
so hand size has a.
Yeah, for me they do.
It makes sense because
even
smaller.
like the arm angle.
Yeah.
Because you see some pitches go a little bit higher, so a good curveball.
There was one pitcher a handful of years ago, pitched for the Giants, Jonathan Sanchez. They said this guy, he had a great talented pitcher, had a couple of good years with the Giants. But the only problem is that there were certain pitches he had problems with because his hands were too small.
Too small, exactly correct.
And he actually threw a no-hitter, but he just relied on the fastball and changing speeds. So then he became predictable. That's why he didn't last very long because he couldn't do any other pitches because his hands were too small. So, like you said, you look for the good size.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand, good fingers.
But this game is adjustment.
Yeah.
So that's what I do it.
Make do.
Yeah, adjustment, teaching this kid. I look for every little thing that I can work with him. And sometimes I had to say, I think, the correct word for them to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you say like, oh, the arm angle, but I say a different word. Like, or the other thing I explain to them is boxing or ride a bike. You know, because you see some guys when they do they start doing the wind up, they stop the arm in front. How I explain to them is wrong. Like we tried so many different ways, but I said, let me see. Okay, if you run, you came in the bike, full speed. That's what the wall is right there. Where you stop your bike? Right here? You say, no, way over there. You say, that's the same thing with your arm.
With the finish.
If you stop your arm right in front,
Sure.
man, you start to make the stop. Soon you separate your arm.
And if you don't have that good finish, you're going to create some injuries.
Exactly.
That's a lot of stress on the arm,
A
shoulder.
lot. And no control, no speed. When you pitch, you want speed.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you want. But if you stop your arm,
But that's a great example. It's like running
You
through
lost a
first
lot of
base.
weight.
When you
Yeah.
run through first base, if you stop
Exactly.
at the base, you slow down early, right? If you run through the base, you did it at the maximum speed. That's another whole ball game because we've seen a lot of science between guys, sliding head first at first base,
Yeah.
and science shows it's too slow. But yet we still see it day in and day out. We saw it here at the WBC event. That they want to dive head first, and he was out.
To see if you can beat that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Enrique, the academy. Do you have a good staff? You got how many people do you have around the company?
we from the MLB we just two guys. I'm the pitching coach, and the other guy from Dominican. He live in Spain. He's run the whole academy.
Okay.
But he is especially in infield.
Oh, infielders as well.
Exactly. We have 3 guys work with me with pitching because we have 22 pitchers.
Wow.
We have 22 pitchers. We have a coach, Dave Brazilian, catcher special for catcher, outfielders, and trainer. We have a trainer and strength conditioning.
How about a hitting instructor?
Right now, they don't send like the hitting instructor because right now we don't have no hitters.
Right.
Okay, it's all working on their mechanics.
Yeah, and it sounds like pitching.
Yeah, it's like
right?
pitching.
And defense. Huh?
Yeah, and defense.
Okay.
Because it's like we said, out of the 17, 15 are pitchers.
Okay.
And
that's why.
all those prospects we got are pitchers right now.
Okay, so this is focusing mainly on pitching and defense.
Yeah,
right
we-
now, then later.
Right now we
expand
have
the academy.
exactly. We have a kid, 15 years old. He turned 92, left-handed, 6'3", 6'4".
92 already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good control.
He got a little bit, but hey, the arm
That's
is
why he's
there.
there. That's why he's
The
there.
arm is
And
there.
what a great
so-
mentor to have.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
left-handed pitcher, pitching the big
Yeah.
leagues,
Yeah.
understands the game. Hey,
Absolutely.
I want to give out a shout-out to George Azuka, the president of Brazil Baseball. I've known him for about 30 years, maybe more. What a great individual to work with throughout the world. I know you know George, and his son
Yeah.
also is heavily involved in the program. They're doing the right thing there in Brazil.
Exactly, they do the thing. They want the baseball grow
Yeah.
in Brazil. They have a lot of tournaments. They have more kids. Like 2 weeks ago, they have the T-ball tournament, and that was awesome.
A lot of kids.
A lot of kids,
That's where it all starts.
and we saw a little kids talk to us because we watching the game, and they have two twins, pair of two kids that they can play. And one of them come to me and say, in 2-3 years, I'll be here with you because I want to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. And they're seeing a goal. They're seeing
exactly.
light at the end of the tunnel there.
uh,
That's interesting. I want to get back again, just jump back quickly. When we talked about, Jeff Crochelle obviously is handling the conditioning and the strength and all the workouts. I know you're concerned with the pitching aspect, the shoulders. What do you recommend to some of the coaches that you might do to help them with the, preventing injuries? I know it's not perfect, it's not perfect science, but what do you guys work with at the academy a little bit? Are there bands, or what do you work with?
well, they do everything.
Yeah.
They work with the bands.
Mm-hmm.
They do with those, I don't know how you say, the heavy balls.
Yeah, weighted balls.
Weighted
Sure,
balls.
sure.
You know.
Sure.
And they have a lot of new things. Like for me, it's new that I don't know how to say it.
But it's the strength in the body.
Yeah, it's strength.
Yeah,
yes.
they're strengthening the right areas.
Right.
That's
They
important.
do a lot of sit-ups. They do.
That's an interesting aspect, because we don't do enough sit-ups. I know Japanese in high school, and I've visited many high schools, told me they do 400 sit-ups a day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how important is the stomach? You know, and the back.
Back, very, very important.
Like everybody think we pitch it with the arm.
Yeah.
We not.
It's our core.
Yeah. Here
And there.
and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you strong here, but you weak in the back, it's nothing.
How do you find out these kids, you know, as they're developing? I know they're young, but how do you find out the mental aspect, the mentality of, you know, being a pitcher? If they're ready for it, or is there any training for that, you know, to prepare them? Because, you know, baseball is a game of failure. There's no doubt they're going to fail more times, especially hitting. That's the obvious one. But pitching too is not an easy task, you know. And kids get frustrated sometimes. I can't throw strikes. I know you're there to teach them, but is there a mental part of this game that's important?
Yeah. When they start in the academy, the first thing I say, don't worry about throw strike. Right now, I don't care if you throw strike or not.
Yeah.
I wanted you clear your mechanic real good. So when you have the correct mechanic, now you're going to throw strike. Now you're going to have more velocity. But first, we work with mechanic. Don't worry about throw hard, because, you know, every kid wants to throw hard.
Yeah.
Overdo it, over-impress.
Exactly. I said, no. I know you're going to throw hard. But go step by step. You know, step by step. And back to the question, they do a lot of exercise in the gyms. Don't know with the heavy weight. They have the
Lightweight.
Yeah.
Kind of like equipment they use for rehab.
Exactly.
Therapeutic.
Correct.
For physical therapy type.
Correct. They do a lot of aerobic running.
Oh yeah, aerobic running. Sure.
Yeah,
It's not as much long distance running.
Like, it's more like explosion.
Explosion, sure.
Sprint, yeah.
Sure. But
Sprint,
lateral movements, forward,
Exactly.
backward,
Yes.
angles. Now, when you get these kids, and we're coming close, just so you know, folks, close to the end of the show, but we got a few more questions we want to ask. I know Michael's got a ton of questions he wants to ask.
I like to save it for another time.
That's right. But, you know, when it comes to these kids, you know, the language, they sign, how do you prepare them to go to the U.S.? Because that's a cultural shock for some of these kids, and you can't just, you know, shoot them there and say, oh, have a good time.
See, the way we practice is the same way a big league team practice. Same thing, spring training. We tell them that what we do in Brazil, that's the same thing they will do in Dominican, or the same thing we'll do in Brazil, in the States, if they sign. And we try to do the same thing, you know. We have those meetings, the stretching, and even everything is in English.
Mm-hmm. So learn English.
Yeah, everything is
That's important.
Everything is in English. When you're in the field, you talk English. Well, you might forget sometimes.
Sure.
But
that's how they learn.
English, baseball in English.
Meals, money, or, you know, I got to go to McDonald's and order. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
correct.
And by the way, folks, just so you know, Enrique and I also go back a little while, and I still remember the story when you told me about the young man. I know we're going back a long time that was rooming with you. Remember? And you went in Miami. You guys were in Miami together, and you know, we laugh about it, but it's reality. You know, I mean, the young man I think was from the Dominican, you know, and he didn't know how to order at McDonald's, so he just waited for everybody else to order. And if the guy said one, he said one. You order the same one, right? I mean, there's
He don't know what he's gonna eat, but he say one.
Yeah.
That's like the old joke about the Russian who goes into a coffee shop and every day he ordered apple pie and coffee because he didn't know how to order, but everybody else was ordering
apple pie and coffee.
Yeah. And then they asked him, what was your name? And he goes, apple pie and coffee. That's the only words he knew. You know? So like I said, number one, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's important to train them, I mean, to get them ready for that.
Exactly. See, we even, like, when they signing, the kids coming back to work out with us, they tell us that, oh, The PFP we take here helped me a lot there.
Oh yeah.
Everything the oh, I forget. Sorry that
No.
sometimes I forgot my English.
That's okay.
Because I think in Portuguese,
Yeah,
in
in
Spanish, and
I do that in
English.
Italian too.
Yeah.
Mike's doing it in Japanese.
What's that?
You're doing it in Japanese.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know,
They had me a script. They said, "Here, read it in Japanese."
you learn that in 24 hours.
24 hours. Man.
Yeah. You see,
No more English.
they even learn how to do the pitching chart.
Oh wow. You're
Because
preparing
when
them
they-
just like the Bat Boys they prepare here.
Exactly.
Same way.
Same way.
That's great.
And we tell them you have to learn English. Everything you do in baseball got to be in English.
Well, we talked about Mike. We talked about the mental game. We forget that when these kids go to the U.S., if they're not accustomed with all this, it mentally affects them,
it could
which
really-
then carries over into the field,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not. They could be
It could
homesick.
damage them.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
a short time, yeah.
That's
So,
probably as important as teaching them the pitching aspect.
Yep.
Now, I want you to tell the coaches because a show like this, education-wise, we can ask a lot of questions. We'll be here for 5 hours, but sometimes even I miss questions that are important that you really wanted to mention to help coaches around the world. Is there anything you want to talk about when it comes to the pitching aspect, or anything about baseball that you want to give advice to some of our coaches around the world that they should be working on? That's important.
Yeah, but like the one thing for me is important, like I said before, the balance for me.
Yeah.
And let the guy have fun.
Hmm.
The kid have fun.
That's big. That's big.
Because like you see the kid for 5 minutes, and you want to change it. You want to change it right away.
Yeah.
Let him show you. And
So you let them do it, watch them for a while before you
Correct.
make any decision on what you're going to change.
because I have the experience. They have a guy to throw a little bit strange in the long toss,
Yeah.
in the warm up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a bit different when he go to the bullpen, but when he goes in the game,
different parts of the game.
I was big
Big
difference.
difference.
Depends on what inning.
And I asked him, how you do that? He said, I don't know. One thing is, play catch. Bullpen, nobody can hit, nobody can hit.
No hitter there.
But in the game,
Yeah.
I had to get him out. So let the guy show you what he can do, and then you work.
That's the best point, right?
It is. And I like
You
that
know?
you emphasize two things: the balance, and let the guy show you what he can do before you start teaching. Because we all want to fall into changing guys right away.
Right away, that's
Yeah.
the thing. And now you work with that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Always work little things, step by step, because some coaches, like they want us to work legs and upper body. No. First we work one side, and we go the other side.
Yeah.
Because those kids, they don't take a lot of things when they practice. Like you talk, the balance and the arm angle. Nah, they go first. Worry about the balance. Balance. Okay, you good? Now we go to the arm angle.
I love to hear that because we're really getting away from some of the basics.
Baby steps, basics. That's
Yeah,
the key.
exactly.
Yeah, and you mentioned games. Since you mentioned, I got to bring it up. You guys play games, obviously, at the academy. Preparation prior to the game, the pitcher that's going to pitch. How do you get him ready? What's the kind of a routine that you might do?
See, we don't have our routine.
Mm-hmm. Their routine.
We teach them how their own routine.
There you go.
Because if I pitch one way, you won't be the same to me.
Yeah.
He's different. Each pitcher have the own way to prepare for the game. When I get down in Brazil the first year, we have a game, and the kid throw 85 pitches
Oh.
before he went to
Before we went to the game.
Yeah, because they have that Japanese style
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you throw a lot.
Yeah.
You keep throwing. Finish the inning, you go to the side and keep play catch.
Yeah.
But now it's different.
But you have to make sure that he's ready for the game.
Exactly.
So you're there to evaluate, to watch.
Yeah, I you know, we
What's some of the things you
try
see?
that. Yeah, we try to explain the less pitch you throw in the bullpen,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you will be better in the game. Because if you throw everything in the bullpen, nothing left for the game.
Is there anything unique you see the guys doing? You know, different pitchers. Anything unique that they do prior to the game that you say, oh, that's interesting, or anything? I mean, are they just playing catch?
Yeah, they just
and then
play
doing
catch.
long toss?
And one thing, they start getting better because when they work ready for the game, they don't play long toss. They're always short. And when we get there, they say, hey, before the game, throw long toss. They throw 6-7 pitches. I say, oh, my arm is good now.
Yeah.
You know. And now they go to the bullpen, 5-6 pitches, they're ready.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Very good.
But before, they throw a lot of pitches in the bullpen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and again, that's another issue, but we can talk that another show. Hey, let's end it with the WBSC Premier 12, this event that we've all been involved in. Love to get your take about the event. You know, maybe Michael will have some questions also about that. First with Enrique, what's your take about the event? Everything you've seen right now with the teams.
Oh, it's a great event. Good teams. I haven't seen a game that is
Been all close.
They're all close.
Yeah.
Pitching, defense. I see that I like the defense. It was a good defense, and they know how to play baseball. You know, and they do the right thing to try to win a game.
As your job as one of the technical commissioners for the tournament, what have you seen that you've liked, or you've seen that something needs corrections on? Has it been pretty flawless so far, or do you think there's some?
It's a few things, you know, but everything down here. I've been in Korea and been down here, and I like the way they work. The ground crew work great. Okay. They have the field real.
And that's important.
That's important. They have
major injuries if it's not.
Yeah, prepare for the game. You know, that we have to have, you know, some different the time. In between inning, the time, but
and that's related to television.
Yeah, I understand that in television, and
that's the money part.
That's right. The money part, but
I don't like the end of the fifth inning. Right, we don't do that in majors.
Right.
I don't like it here in the international game. I think it's
too long.
Too long slows the momentum down.
That's correct.
That could be bad for your pitcher too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be a safety issue, but unfortunately, TV time pays the bills,
you
right?
Some extra cash.
Yeah.
More yen is needed here in Japan.
What did you see, Michael, that was interesting here? Anything you saw the teams doing, maybe prior to the game, or anything?
Like Enrique, everything's pretty flawless. You know, I think, everybody's on. There's so many people to help. That's what. There's a lot of people down there. Nothing should go wrong. I haven't seen anything. You know, it's been pretty flawless. A couple of typo errors, just the communication with the different languages. Some people had their names wrong in the graphics, but we cleared that up.
But you catch those, clear them up,
catch them right away.
get them going.
Nobody knows about it. So it works out. Well, that's the only thing. That's just because people are in a hurry trying to get it done, and they don't, you know, and they misspell some things or something like that. That's just the communication gap. But once you point it out, just like stuff what you guys have when you're running things as a technical commissioner, you're seeing things too. Maybe some stuff with the umpires because there's different countries and stuff, and then you find it, you find a small flaw, and you correct it right away. And then boom, game on.
And what's amazing, there's so much to organize in these events. I mean, when you talk about
it takes a lot of people.
You know, the P announcers, the official scorers,
the broadcasters,
the broadcasters, the on-field, you know, grounds crew. I mean, you name it. Just go through it. There's so much to coordinate. The umpires.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, little things. You know, the baseballs. You know, you got to make sure the baseball's there. Without baseballs, you ain't playing this game.
So we forgot the bag of balls. Okay.
Or they got locked in a closet. We got to find the key. That happens.
And I want to mention the WBSC does a great job. They have a really great staff. They work all over the world, and
that's what I'm saying. It's so hard, and they do a fantastic job.
Some of these guys are up there working like 15, 16 hours a day. You see them like at 8 o'clock at night, and then you come back maybe 6 in the morning. They're still in the office. They haven't got to bed.
Yeah,
and
they work their tail off. They need some more help.
And they have to prepare us. I mean, they're getting everything ready for us. And like us in a technical committee, as you know, we've got a responsibility on the field. A lot of things with the managers, the protests, you know, video replays. We got to worry about batting practice, the times. We got to worry about the cultures of different teams. They're used to doing different things prior to the game. Well, you know, this is the WBSC Premier 12 event. We have protocols that they have to follow, and very important. And sometimes, we just have to remind them that, you can't.
Exactly, great.
Yeah, you can't do this. You're not in your country right now.
Well,
If you are, if you're in Japan.
Yeah, because a lot of guys say, "I play professional." Yes, you play professional, but like you say, here is not professional.
Yeah.
WBSC.
Yeah, exactly. Different.
Yeah, different.
I was just saying, WBSC.org is the website to get all the results of the tournament, all the action, and they have highlights, video highlights, and all.
You can get it. You can watch the game live, right? On
I think it's is it
Facebook. I know you can check it
YouTube,
out.
maybe?
You could go YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
You can check out the WBSC.org.
Get updates on Twitter as well. So it's WBSC.org. Or I think you can actually log on to Premier12.org. If
I
I'm not
believe
mistaken.
so.
Yeah, you can get on your computer. Make sure you have Wi-Fi. You can get everything.
And be patient because sometimes there might be a blackout on the internet because of where it's being played. But you can also see it afterwards. You can check it out.
Tape delay.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Anything else, guys, you want to talk about? You want to mention about the WBSC Premier 12 event? If not, we're going to close it off with Michael Carlucci first.
Well, but I do have a quick joke. I do a little league joke. Is that cool? You're going to like this joke.
Is it clean?
Well, it's not, but I'm going to change it. Just the word blank will be replacing one of the bad words.
Is this going to be the Joe Rogan special?
No, Joe will use the dirty word. So these two kids had a great game during their Little League game. So they're having dinner. The two boys, they both got hits and doubles. Had a super game. So the mother's preparing dinner, and she asked the first son, he goes, "Hey, son, how was that game?" He goes, "Mom, I had a blankety-blank, great blankety game. I had 3 triples, 2 doubles." She goes, "What did you say?" "I had a blankety-blank great game." She smacks him across the head, right? And then she goes, "Son," the brother, "Oh, how did you do in the game, son?" He goes, "Well, I didn't have that good a game. I struck out 3 times."
He was afraid to get wet.
Yeah, he was going to say that. So that's my joke of the day.
That's right. Folks, if you didn't notice, we love to have fun on the show, but we love to have fun during the event. We have a great time. We think, that's how you learn, and that's how you make life exciting. If you're not having fun, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
So we have a blast at it. So Michael, close it off for us.
Pack up and go home. Yes, right. Mike Carlucci Broadcast, Carlucci Broadcast International, part of the Bottom Line. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. And of course, we thank our great guests. A lot of good information. A pitching coordinator of the academy there in Brazil, Enrique Burgos. A lot of experience. And if you know of any Brazilians need some pitching instruction, this is the man to talk to. So nonetheless, Peter, I want you to close our show. Talk about the things on your show.
Your Spanish is getting pretty good.
Sometimes.
Burgos.
Poquito.
Good job.
Yeah. My safety Spanish words are muchos libros en la biblioteca.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, folks, did you hear that voice? That's why he's the PA guy here. He's formerly of the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers PA system.
And the MLB The Show for 22 years, the video game.
You brought that up, so you got to tell.
Oh, one of the broadcasters, they have a lot of great broadcasters covering this game. And I think his first name is Tyler. Just met him last night. He said that when I started doing the MLB The Show video game, he goes, "Yeah, man, when I was 7, 8 years old, I was playing your video game." He goes, "I came to the game, I go, I didn't recognize it. No, I think he's from the video game." So, a young kid named, young man now, Tyler. So, but all the broadcasters do a great job.
That makes us feel good. No, he was 7 years old.
Yeah. No, I feel like a grandpa age, but nonetheless, Pete
and Enrique, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thank you for you guys inviting me here, though.
Yeah, a lot of good information.
And we have a lot of fun today.
Yes.
And especially
more time.
And we're going to have more today, the rest of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great.
No, it's great to meet this guy. I'm glad this first time I met him, and he's a super guy. So,
all right, folks. Thank you very much for joining the show. Thanks to Enrique Burgos, Michael Carlucci, Pete Caliendo. I'm the host of Baseball Outside the Box. I want to thank all of you in the U.S. and around the world for joining the show. Don't forget to check us out on all the social media networks, Baseball Outside the Box. It's Baseball Out on Twitter, Instagram, also on Facebook. So thanks, everybody around the world. And guess what? We will see you on the next show.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. Hasta la vista.
You gotta say baby.